They say words can lie, but questions reveal the truth. When someone is secretly drawn to you, they rarely confess it directly. Instead, they test the waters with questions, soft, curious, almost harmless on the surface. But beneath those words hides something deeper: desire, vulnerability, even a hint of obsession. Have you ever wondered why she asks about your weekend, or why she suddenly cares about the smallest details of your life? It is not coincidence. Psychology shows that attraction often leaks through the things people choose to ask. A woman may never say, "I like you," but her questions scream it louder than her voice ever could. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of these subtle tests. We'll uncover 5 questions a woman will almost always ask when she secretly likes you, and what each one actually means. Stay with me, because the signs are far darker and more revealing than you think. By the end, you will see how her words, disguised as curiosity, expose everything she is trying to hide. What are you doing right now? When a woman secretly desires you, her curiosity does not stay silent. The first question that slips through is often small, almost innocent. What are you doing right now? At the surface, it looks like casual conversation. But in psychology, nothing is ever that casual. This question is less about your activity and more about your availability. She is not really interested in whether you are scrolling on your phone, working, or watching TV. What she wants to know is whether your attention can be hers. Think about it. When someone feels nothing for you, they do not care where you are or what you are doing. But attraction changes the rules. Her mind begins to orbit around your schedule. She wants to see if she can fit into it, if she can slip into your free moments. That tiny question is her way of saying, without saying, "Are you free for me?" There is a darker layer here. Attraction often carries insecurity. By asking what you are doing, she is also checking if you might be giving your time to someone else. It is not simply curiosity, it is control wrapped in softness. She is mapping out your world, testing if she has space inside it. Psychologists call this a bid for connection. It is a subtle attempt to pull your focus toward her without appearing needy. She can ask it at any hour, early morning, late night, during work, because the time does not matter. What matters is your response. If you answer quickly, she feels a spark of power. If you delay, her mind floods with questions. Who is he with? Why is he not replying? Is there someone else? This single question reveals for more than it seems. It exposes longing, fear, and the hunger for reassurance. It is not about what you are doing. It is about what you are doing without her. Who were you with? When a woman feels a hidden desire for you, her questions start to cut deeper. One of the most revealing ones is, who were you with? At first, it may sound like casual interest, but psychology shows us this is rarely about small talk. It is about possession. This question is heavy with hidden meaning. It carries jealousy, fear, and the hunger for control. She is not only asking about the people around you. She is asking if she still has a place in your life, or if someone else has stolen it. When a woman desires you, her mind often wrestles with silent battles you cannot see. Every unknown face in your world becomes a possible rival. Notice the tone when she asks this. If she says it softly, it might be masked curiosity. If she sharpens her voice, it may be insecurity breaking through. Both reveal the same truth: she needs to know where your attention goes when she is not there. This question works like a spotlight. It shines directly into the dark corners of your private time. Even if she does not accuse you, she wants proof that you are still hers in some way. If you answer with honesty and calm, she feels safer. But if you hesitate, laugh it off, or become vague, her suspicion grows stronger. Jealousy is one of the most powerful emotional triggers in human psychology. Studies show it activates the same brain regions as physical pain. That is why a simple question, "Who were you with?" can feel like a blade pressing against the truth. It is not small talk, it is survival. She wants to know if she is at risk of losing you. The darker side. Sometimes, she already suspects. She is not asking to hear your answer, she is asking to measure your reaction. Do your eyes shift? Does your tone change? Do you answer too quickly, or too slowly? The psychology of attraction teaches us that people listen less to words and more to the emotions leaking out between them. This question is the shadow of jealousy. It hides fear behind curiosity. It hides possession behind sweetness, and it reveals something very raw: that desire is never clean. It always comes with the fear of being replaced. Do you miss me? When a woman looks at you and asks, "Do you miss me?" it might sound like a sweet and harmless question. But underneath, this is not just about words. It is about her craving for reassurance. It is about her testing whether her presence still lingers in your mind when she is not around. Psychologists call this a validation-seeking question. On the surface, it is tender. But in reality, it exposes insecurity mixed with desire. A woman who truly desires you wants proof that she is more than just a passing thought. She wants to know if the space she leaves behind aches in your chest, the same way it aches in hers. This question can strike like a dagger. Because if you hesitate, if you sound uncertain, she feels a storm rising inside. Humans fear abandonment more than almost anything else. In fact, studies show that emotional rejection activates the brain in the same regions as physical injury. That is why being not missed hurts like being cut. But here is the dark truth: when a woman desires you deeply, this question is not just about love, it is about control. If you admit you miss her, she feels power. She feels secure knowing she holds a part of your emotions hostage. If you deny it, or brush it off, she feels exposed, almost humiliated. This is why such a soft-sounding question can create such heavy tension. The tone she uses reveals even more. If she asks with a playful smile, it may be an attempt to hide her vulnerability. If she asks quietly, in moments of stillness, it reveals a deeper wound, fear that you might be slipping away. The real danger is when this question becomes repetitive. That is when reassurance turns into obsession. Consider how this unfolds in real life. A woman might text late at night, "Do you miss me?" She does not ask because she needs information. She asks because she is fishing for comfort. And if your reply is weak, cold, or delayed, the silence becomes louder than any words you could have spoken. From a psychological view, this reveals something primal. Desire and fear are two sides of the same coin. To desire someone is to risk losing them. And so, the question, "Do you miss me?" is never innocent. It is her way of reaching into your chest to see if your heartbeat still belongs to her. Reassurance is a drug. The more she asks, the more she needs. And the more you give, the more she will return for another dose. It is a cycle of hunger, sweet on the outside, dark on the inside. What are you thinking about? Few questions feel more disarming than when a woman suddenly asks, "What are you thinking about?" On the surface, it sounds caring, like she is curious about your world. But if you peel back the layers, this question hides something far more unsettling. It is about control of your mental space. When a woman secretly desires you, she does not just want your attention in the moment. She wants to invade your private thoughts. She wants to know if she exists in the silence of your mind when no one else is watching. Think about how heavy that is. She is not asking about your plans or your day, but about your inner world. Psychologists call this cognitive intimacy, the hunger to know not just what you do, but what you think. It is one of the deepest forms of closeness, but also one of the most dangerous. Why? Because thoughts are the last fortress of privacy. When someone desires you intensely, they want to break into that fortress. This question can feel sweet when asked once in a while. But in darker cases, it becomes a weapon. If she hears that you were thinking about something, anything, that does not include her, a shadow crosses her face. That shadow is jealousy, born not from what you said, but from what you did not. Real-life examples reveal how disturbing this can become. A man once admitted in therapy that his girlfriend would repeatedly ask him this question. When he mentioned work, she grew distant. When he mentioned friends, she grew angry. The only answer that ever satisfied her was, "I was thinking about you." Over time, his mind stopped being his own. He edited his thoughts before speaking, fearing her reaction. That is not love, that is mental surveillance. From a psychological lens, this shows how desire can blur into obsession. The question is not really about your thoughts, it is about her fear of exclusion. If she is not in your thoughts, she feels invisible. And invisibility is terrifying to someone who secretly wants to dominate your emotional world. What makes this question chilling is its silence. You cannot prepare for it. It comes in quiet moments, over dinner, in bed, during a walk, and suddenly, she is staring at you, waiting. In that pause, your answer will either feed her craving or awaken her doubt. So the next time you hear, "What are you thinking about?" know that it is not just curiosity. It is her way of reaching into your mind, trying to see if she already lives there. Do you see a future with me? There is one question that sits heavier than all the rest. A woman who secretly desires you, but fears losing her place in your life, will eventually ask, "Do you see a future with me?" At first glance, it may sound like a normal relationship question. But beneath it lies a mix of longing, insecurity, and control. This is not simply about plans, it is about survival in your emotional world. If she desires you in silence, she wants confirmation that her feelings are not wasted. She wants to know if her hidden investment of time, energy, and emotion will one day pay off. Psychologists often refer to this as future pacing, pushing someone to imagine life ahead with you. It is not just about curiosity. It is about planting herself inside your future, even before you have decided if she belongs there. The unsettling part. This question can force you into a corner. If you say yes, you may give her a sense of security that locks you in faster than you realize. If you say no, the shadow of rejection will hang over every word and glance from that moment on. And if you dodge the question, silence itself becomes an answer, a dangerous one. Case studies show how powerful this question can be. One man confessed that his partner asked it early, long before their bond was strong. Out of fear of hurting her, he said yes. Within months, she was planning a life around that one answer. By the time he realized he did not feel the same, the trap was already set. His guilt became her weapon, and his freedom dissolved. This is why the question is more than words, it is a mirror. It reflects not only her desire but also her fear. A woman who asks this is searching for certainty in a world where feelings are fragile. But in doing so, she may pressure you into building a future you never agreed to. What makes this chilling is not the question itself, but the silence after it. The way she looks at you. The way the air thickens as if time has stopped, waiting for your reply. In that silence, your response will either bind her closer, or push her away. So, when you hear, "Do you see a future with me?" remember, it is not just a question. It is the final test, a test of loyalty, of desire, and of whether you are ready to let her claim not only your present but also the years ahead.